Yeah, indeed. Now, with traditional school uniforms being abandoned in some countries around the world, most schools in South Africa still soldier on under the uniform guidelines issued by the Department of Education. Now, the department believes that the uniforms serve a very important social and education purpose, and no one takes more pride in school uniforms than the school principals themselves. Now, with a fairly strict and traditional approach to school attire is Sue Redling-Hayes, who's the principal at St. Cyprians School for Girls, and Stephen Price takes a more progressive approach with his Bergvliet High learners, and it's great to have both principals here with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, Principal Redling-Hayes, tell us a little bit about why uniforms are so important at St. Cyprians, and does fashion play any kind of influence in the way they look?
The uniform is very much part of our identity, and it talks to a long tradition. The school is 144 years old, and it's part of our brand and is easily recognized as part of what we stand for.
Yeah.
We do not really take too much notice of what is happening in terms of fashion, except, I suppose, in the sports uniforms, whereby we would look at what is comfortable and what is user-friendly for whatever particular sports that they are playing.
Yeah.
But it is very much part of who we are and what we stand for.
Yeah, part of the identity of the school.
Yes.
And so, what would you say to girls that go to schools that are very traditional in their viewpoint of school uniforms? How should they get their grooming and their school uniforms ready for the new school year?
I think it's about neatness and it's about pride. The uniform certainly reflects a pride in the institution and a pride in a sense of belonging to something that's bigger than themselves. And so the best thing would be to make sure that it is neat and tidy and polished and fits them well.
Yeah, and I'm sure, but I mean, your girls are very well behaved, I'm sure of that, but there might be the odd one or two that doesn't comply with the rules. How do you deal with them?
We have a very, I think, well-accepted code of conduct, and it is part of what the girls buy into when they come into the school, so that they know what they're in for. I think they agree with the whole idea of uniforms. They love their uniform. They're not too keen to change it themselves, other than for comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do not comply with the school uniform policy, they know what the code of conduct says.
Yeah,
it's not particularly onerous or strict. It is just a reminder about what the values of the school are and what the uniform stands for, and again, why we have it at our particular school, the long tradition, the long history.
144 years. Now, Principal Price, what's the uniform approach at Bergvliet?
Bergvliet moved away from the more traditional approach about 8 years ago. We're a school that's about 58 years old. Believe that we're a modern 21st century high school and South African school. And we moved away from the ties and the blazers and the formal winter and a summer's uniform. We went into a slightly more optional uniform where we have basic uniform requirements, long pants or short pants for the boys, long pants or short skirts for the girls, and then shirt or blouse, and then short sleeve jersey and long sleeve jersey for the heat or the cold.
Yeah.
And literally the children can choose what they want to wear on a daily basis. So there's no formal summer uniform or winter uniform, and it just takes the pressure off constantly checking them and moaning at them and
must be a very colourful playground as well. But how strictly do you enforce the code of conduct in terms of school uniform?
I think in the same way that Sue does. There's no difference in that context. There is a uniform. It's just that there's a choice about what you wear on a particular day, and each individual has that choice, and we like that idea.
Yeah. And if both of you were to look at the approach that you have for school uniforms, what would you say are the best pros for each approach?
I think it's very much contextual. I think for us, uniform is just the basic in terms of belonging and identity. Self-expression is catered for in the way we educate, and it's more about who the girls are and what they do to progress themselves than how they look.
Yes.
So I don't think it's a huge discipline issue ever. It's very much they understand that coming to the school, those are what the expectations are. It is a smart uniform, and I think it sets the tone for the year in terms of the expectations of what's required in terms of studying.
Indeed.
For us, it's also about branding the school and the flexibility. You know, it's instead of being insistent that you wear a winter uniform when it's a warm day in winter, why not wear something a little bit more comfortable? And we're not here to make it difficult for the kids.
And just quickly, if you were to imagine a South Africa with schools with no uniforms, what do you think that would be like?
I think it might be slightly problematic because I think if people had to make a decision every morning about what to wear and the issue became about the clothes, perhaps some children wouldn't go to school because they might not feel as if they had the right clothes. Whereas this is very easy. If they get up in the morning and the uniform is there, the choices are taken away and they can focus on what they need to focus on.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit of a leveler.
Yeah.
You know, it just makes that divide. Our school has, you know, multimillionaires from Constantia and domestic workers from college, so it takes away that pressure in a school environment. And I think they're pretty much essential. I like the uniform and I like the approach that it has. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much to both of you for coming in this morning and sharing your opinions with us. And good luck for the school year ahead. I really hope that you hit all those marks that you have intended for yourselves.
Thank you.
To all of our learners preparing to start a brand new school year, good luck. And no matter what the dress code of your school is, you know, just make sure that you take pride in your school uniform because you've got to look good. And when you look good in it, you feel good and then you do good. And also make the most of every single education opportunity that you have out there. Now let's check in with our learner who's getting a haircut and hopefully the principals approve.